Good morning. Day 12. Today is the day that must work out, not like yesterday. So hopefully everything goes well. We have to get as close as we can to our pickup location. Looks like it's going to be a hot one today. Clear skies. It's going to be 85 degrees, sunny, and I don't think it's supposed to be too windy, but I'm just hoping these portages are where they are. And they're not too damn rocky and hilly. They get really wet in the morning with the dew and everything, the moisture. I don't want to be slipping on rocks. So I'm gonna pack up, get out of here, have a little bite to eat, a little snack, a little bacon, and hit the water. First portage is 24 rods into a lake, smaller lake. And then the next portage is the big one that I'm worried about, 165 rods. It's about 3/4 of a mile. So once I get past there, I think I'm home free. Well, looks like I found a path here. We'll see if it's the portage. It's gotta be. It just gotta be. It's worn down. There's a little bit of a path there. I'm thinking, yes, we found it. Now, can't get my feet wet because I got a huge portage next. Well, that was interesting. That 24 rod portage turned into be about a 60 because of a frickin' beaver dam. Had to go around it some more, and it was all wet. It was all grasses. And check, so much for keeping the feet dry. My boots are about 75% wet. My socks, I can't feel it yet, but hopefully they're fine for the next big portage. Oh man, one more trip on that and they would have been soaked. So we got a smaller lake to paddle across, probably a half-hour paddle at best, and then to the big portage. Take this time to dry off and cool off a little bit. Sweaty and icky from all the bugs and the dew on the grasses and the trees, and I'm soaked. It's like I took a shower. All right. So I'm fueling up before this big portage. A bottle of water, a bottle of electrolytes, and a granola bar before I hit this portage. I gotta have all the energy I can get for this 3/4 of a mile portage. So that's the plan before every portage. That's big. Get what you need in your body. To provide you with the energy to get across. Hopefully this will do the trick. This portage is almost 3/4 of a mile long, and I was fearing that it was going to be another bad one. Boy, I was wrong. This portage is sent from heaven. Heaven. Compared to the stuff that I've crossed over the last 11, 12 days, this is a walk in the park. You swear you're at Central Park or something. There's hardly any obstacles. It's a quick walk, and it's much needed at this stage in the game. So, is it portage or portage? That's the question. If you're United States, if you're from the States, I think you call it portage. If you're French Canadian, you call it portage. I think that's how you define it. I'm not Canadian, so I have no right to call it portage. But I am in Canada. I should be calling it portage. Still in Canada. So along this path also there's a lot of moose tracks. This is a moose highway. Just a frickin' moose highway. They're using this like crazy. I'm sure bear are too. In fact, there's some bear poop up ahead. I'll show you later. Yeah. This section here is used by so many moose. There's moose prints, moose tracks everywhere. It's just beat down. There's more moose tracks than people tracks, that's for sure. So they're around here. Hey moose, coming through. Hey moose. Coming through. Definitely we're out of the burn. This is way more lush, different type of vegetation. More woodland, not as piney. Not as piney and boreal foresty. It's all woodlands mixed in with rocks and stuff, but yeah. Quite the nature trail. So, I'm just taking a break right now. Just carrying some packs here. So all in all, when you triple carry a portage, that means you made 5 trips across it. And this portage is almost 3/4 of a mile. So back and forth would be 1.5 miles. So I did that, back and forth, 1.5 miles, back and forth again, 1.5 miles, and another 3/4 of a mile. So that would be 3.75 miles for this one portage. So that's how much you gotta walk just to get to the other side with all your gear. It's not easy. Not easy. But if you don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it for you. Okay, let's get rolling again. It's getting so frickin' hot and humid out. And there's no clouds in the sky yet. Not over me anyhow. Oh, it's gonna be a scorcher out on the lake. I am just absolutely dripping in sweat right now. We're almost there. A few more hills to climb. A few more. Hey bear, coming through. If you know what's best for you, you best stay away. You don't want to mess with this guy. No way. You don't want to mess with this guy. I see the lake. I see the lake. Finally. Finally. Oh man. Look at that pile of bear scat. That is huge. Been eating good. Oh, there's my canoe. We can get the heck off of this portage. 3.5 miles worth of carrying shit. Oh, whew. Oh man, does that breeze feel good. After the long, sweaty portage, what a reward. Give me a chance to dry out my clothes, my shoes. Almost time to put the sunscreen on. It'll be about that time, 10 o'clock. I think I'll wait till after these next couple little portages I gotta do. Coming up ahead here in about 10 minutes. Nice little lake. So my buddy Eric Swanson was kind enough to lend me a canoe yoke, one you just put on your canoe. It's a Grumman style canoe yoke that just wing nuts on over the I forget what you call those, thwarts. I don't know. It was actually his dad's. It has stamped in there RS. And Eric was telling me that his dad and, well, his family is from the Ely area, Ely, Minnesota. So it's nice and proper that I took his canoe yoke on my trip to Quetico, coming up out of Ely into Moose Lake into Quetico. So I thought that was kind of cool. But thanks, Eric, for letting me use your yoke. Much appreciated. Well, we're at the small portage on the other side of this lake. Looks like a natural beaver dam levee again. We just got to go. I don't know if you can see the other lake, but not too far. Just got to pull over this, walk down to the next pothole, and then cross the next pothole to another small portage. So when you get out of a canoe with a kayak paddle, it's real simple. In order to not get your feet wet, you just put the kayak paddle on one side, you push against it, push it so it keeps your canoe up against where you want to get out, step out. That's the secret. That's how I've been staying dry the whole trip. Handy kayak paddle. Okay. Jeez. Little pond. I don't think I'll be getting my drinking water from this one. Have to go to the end of this little pond, and there's another small portage into Basswood Lake. We'll be back into Basswood. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Basswood Lake. Back in Basswood. Oi, do the shake to get the back off. Okay, let's go get the canoe. Since I'm back on the big water and I got a lot of paddling to do now, and it's the middle of the day, have to put some sunscreen on. Definitely. Definitely. Not only do you bake from the sun out here, you bake from the reflection on the water. It's like a double bake. So you get fried twice as quick. Even though you think you're under a hat, doesn't matter. It'll still reflect off the water and hit you in the face. And you'll still get burned. So, hat or no hat. Think we might be able to squeeze, just barely squeeze it by. Oh boy. The last complication. I keep saying that, but this is it. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get it. Hit. Only with a canoe. You ain't taking a boat through here. Beaver tried to dam it up. Wow. Barely. Woohoo! Free at last. Woohoo! Wow. Free at last. Got some big water to paddle now. Get across this North Bay of Basswood Lake. Well, we're certainly into some big water now. So we got about 3 to 4 miles to cross this North Bay on Basswood to get to the next portage going south. So the plan is there's an island ahead of me. The plan is to go to that island and get something to eat. It looks like about a mile away. Dig in the pack, get something to eat. Dig in the pack, get something to eat, sit in the shade a little bit, and take a break. I made it to the tip of the island. So I made it to the tip of the island, and I'm thinking about going to the other shore right away while it's still calm wind. It's probably only a half hour, 40-minute paddle. So I'll take a look around the corner and see what I think and verify that I'm on the spot I'm on. This is some big, big water. I don't want to make a mistake out here. Still calm out, relatively calm. Got to take advantage of these big lakes when they're calm. So I'm going straight ahead of the canoe, back in those little bays. There should be a couple small portages going south. That's what we're looking for. I'll probably catch a snack and rest there for sure. It's about noon right now. Been paddling for 6 hours and portaging, so I need a break. This is a rocky little portage, about 30 rods, but super rocky. I mean, it's bad. Every step of the way is rocks. So, because it's next to a rapids. So, see you on the other side for a lunch break. Oh, a much needed break. One more portage today. That is it. One more. Short little bugger. Maybe a couple of liftovers in the water, but that'd be it. Just ran into my second group of people since the trip on this portage. Nice people from Colorado, a grandfather, his son, and the daughter and the grandkids, boy and a girl. They were on their way into the park for a week trip. That's pretty cool. Taking the kids out. Still a fire ban. That's the information I got from them. Still cannot have a fire in Quetico. That sucks. I was really hoping that they lifted the ban. But, oh well, what do you do? Back to people land. There's some more people even coming right now. I can hear them in the distance. A couple more canoes. So, I better get rolling here pretty quick. I've been hanging out, chatting with the people from Colorado. Oh, it's hot. Gotta be 85 degrees. Almost there. Almost there. I better get going. I gotta get going. Howdy, how's it going? Good luck. Okay, all right. Not so bad, was it? If every portage was like that, I'd love it. Last portage of the day. Oh, they're gonna make us work for this one, huh? Into the wind the whole way. It's alright. This is the lake we're camping on tonight, way on the south end. That's where we're going, way on the south end. Probably a 2.5 mile paddle, maybe 3. Let's go get the canoe. I'm searching for a campsite, and this one looks like has a lot of character, and it's next to where I want to start off tomorrow morning. Quiet little cove area, disconnected a little bit from the main lake. Be able to see a good sunset from here, and it looks like there might be good enough fishing to get me a fish fry. So I'm going to take a look. There's a couple landings. So right in here is the site. This is the first landing right here. Nice and accessible. And then there's another landing right in here. Protected. Cool little area. I don't know which landing you use, but yeah, if the tent sites pan out, it'll be my spot for tonight. I've had enough of this sun. I could probably go a little farther, but what time is it? It's 3:30. 3:30 is enough. Started at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock to 3:30, giving her, traveling on the water, portaging, paddling, portaging, paddling, portaging, paddling. It's over for today on the water, unless I go out and do a little fishing. I might just have enough time to go out in a boat. We'll see what tonight brings. Looking forward to relaxing. I'm gonna cook me up some of those noodles, the last noodles I have, and try to work on a fish fry. Let's see what this site looks like. Here we got the fire area. Very cool. Plenty good there. Nice seating around it. Looks like the tent area is right here, close to the water. Really cool. This would work. Like it. Put the tent right here. I only need one spot. Landing the boat. I guess this is where I'm gonna spend my final night. In Quetico, right here. This is where I'm spending the night. I'm gonna grab my stuff and unload the boat. And make me up something to eat again. I'm hungry. Well, that day certainly went a lot smoother than day 11 did. Yeah, a few tricky spots, but overall it was a smooth day. I needed that. Put on a lot of miles on the water and on portaging. So it was a successful day. I got where I needed to be so I can limp it back in to Prairie Portage. Don't have to bust my entire butt to get back. Yeah, it'll be interesting when I tally up all the portages, all the miles, see what it comes out to be. It's a lot. It's pretty much what I planned. 80 miles that I had to do, 20 miles with the tow in, so 100 miles total. Probably 30 to 40 35 portages, triple carry. I'm over 100 trips on portages. It's a lot of work. I'm thankful I didn't get injured yet. One injury could have screwed up everything. You can't ever not pay attention. You always got to be watching what's going on. Always. It's fun stuff, hard stuff. I didn't get to fish nearly as much as I wanted, but we'll see if we can get one more fish fry if I have that energy. If I have the energy. I'm definitely out of gas. I'm running out of gas. At least for today. Tomorrow I'll be nice and spry and ready to go. Today that sun really took it out of me. A lot of sun. So since I got a few minutes, a little bit of time on my hands, kind of relaxing after supper, waiting for the sun to get a little lower, I thought as a bonus I would go through the route that I took. I wasn't going to, but I thought it'd be a good little bonus for those of you that have stuck with me throughout this whole 13 days. I'm just going to read it off to you off the maps. If you're familiar with it, great. If not, write it down, whatever. But like I said before, it was about a 20-mile tow, and it was about an 80-mile loop from my calculations. You can do the math on how much I needed to cover each day. But so my trip began on June 21st. La Tourelle's on Moose Lake. La Tourelle's Outfitters on Moose Lake. Just out of Ely, Minnesota, a few miles. I took a tow to Prairie Portage. That's a ranger station. That's where the Quetico Park headquarters is. Or not headquarters, but Quetico Park. Whatever you want to call that, the store. That's where I got to check in and tell them where I'm going and give them all my information at Prairie Portage. So La Tourelle's, I stayed there overnight in a cabin, which is really nice. Look up La Tourelle's on the internet. It's definitely very convenient, and they're really good people. Bob and Allison, really good people, down to earth. They run a good business there, so check them out. La Tourelle's on the internet. So La Tourelle's I took a tow. They put my canoe on a rack on a boat and towed me to Prairie Portage. And then after I checked in at Prairie Portage, they towed me another like 15 miles across Basswood Lake to Back Bay, all the way on the west side of Basswood Lake. And that was my drop-off point. So they told me 20 miles total. They dropped me off, and then I had a portage immediately, and that got me into the Basswood Lake. Well, a different part of Basswood Lake. And that took me over to my entry point, which was Basswood Falls. And if you remember, that's when I pretty much had heat exhaustion that day doing those 7.5 miles. So that got me into the Basswood River. So then from the Basswood River, I headed downstream. I went west-northwest, all the way into Crooked Lake. And it was, what bay was that? It was Wednesday Bay of Crooked Lake. I went all the way to Wednesday Bay on Crooked Lake from the Basswood River. And then from there I went up through Gardner Bay on Crooked Lake and headed north even further to Elk Lake, up north even more to Cone Lake, and then I went up to Brent Lake, and I'm still going north. Then I went to Conmee Lake, and that is where you saw me see the moose, the bull moose, swim across when I was taking down camp. That was awesome, by the way. And then from Conmee, I dropped down. That was the tip of my northward journey. It was Conmee Lake. And Conmee and Brent, those were in the burn, big time burn. They were burned 60% probably. There wasn't many campsites around, but I was lucky enough to find good campsites along the way. And then from Conmee Lake, I dropped down into Susanette Lake. Very pretty lake. From Susanette Lake, I went back into Brent Lake in order to get to McIntyre Lake. And McIntyre Lake was that lake where you saw me up high on the point overlooking the whole lake. A lot of good views and a lot of good pictures and videos from there. And then from McIntyre Lake, I kept going south. I'm on my return. I went down into Sarah Lake, and then out of Sarah Lake, and that is where I entered Hell's Canyon. That's what I termed it anyhow. I put on here Hell's Canyon, stay out. It's too rocky and there's no camps. And that includes from Sarah Lake, I went into Side Lake and then like 4 other unnamed lakes that were just in gorges and canyons. And there really wasn't any campsites. And you saw it on the video, it was horrible. And then I went into Isabella Lake after that. And I thought I was kind of home free. But then that river that I was supposed to be lining or paddling down, it didn't turn out to be such a hot lead. So I abandoned that idea, spent the night on Isabella, and then I headed southwest, an alternate route to get around that screwed up creek with all the beaver, the wood down. And so I took an alternate route. I headed southwest to Point Lake, beautiful lake. And then I went into Nest Lake. That's another nice lake. And then I went back down into North Bay of Basswood Lake. And then from the North Bay of Basswood Lake, I went into this lake, Burke Lake. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna leave Burke Lake and I'm going back into Bailey Bay of Basswood Lake and crossing a portion of that into Inlet Bay, down to Prairie Portage Ranger Station, and La Tourelles will once again come and pick me up from the Prairie Portage Ranger Station and bring me back across Moose Lake to their outfitting place on Moose Lake, back to La Tourelles. And that's where my truck is parked, and that's where I gotta get debriefed from coming out of the woods for a while. Yeah, so all in all, it was a good trip. Found some more blueberries. Oh, they're good. Little snack before bed. As I'm out of food. Don't look like fish is gonna provide for me. Good morning. Day 13. The exit day. I just broke camp, my final camp of the trip. I'm running out of real estate on this lake, and I'm heading to a portage. Relatively long portage, 84 rods. And then I'll be into Bailey Bay of Basswood Lake and heading toward Prairie Portage Ranger Station. Look at this point coming out. Points like this are typically really good for walleye fishing with the smaller rock, and they extend way out into the lake. I wish I was there last night to do some walleye fishing. Nice. Yeah. Supposed to be a pretty easy portage because everybody and their brother uses it, and their sister. So I'm gonna get fueled up before the portage with a granola bar. My last granola bar of the trip. Have some water. Because I'll be spending about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half on this portage with all the triple carrying. So when I get to the other side, I'll probably reward myself with the last beef stick and cheese. And then I'm out of food completely, which ain't a big deal. I only have about an hour and a half paddle to the ranger station, Prairie Portage. Oh, that's the deal. I'll see you on the other side. Maybe you want to do this portage for me. I didn't think so. Last portage of the trip that I have to do. Then the boats take me. Last portage of the trip. Doesn't get any easier than this for the home stretch. This will mislead people on their first portage into the park. Wow. Pretty easy walking, I would say. Here we are. That wasn't so bad. Pretty damn easy. Woo! Big beach. Big beach. Into the wind. Big time into the wind. Hope it doesn't pick up much more. Probably will. Alright. I assume I'm going to that shoreline over there, a couple miles away. So now that I've completed my final portage in Quetico, let's see what 13 days of Quetico looks like. That was a fresh paint job, not one scratch on it before I entered the park. Oh yeah, I remember that one. And I remember that one. Oh, and who could forget these right here? Every scratch is a new story. There's a lot of stories on this canoe. So right now we're here. We have to skirt this edge, past this island, into the narrows, through these narrows to Prairie Portage. Oh yeah, I forgot, I just remembered. I'm gonna reward myself with my last piece of food. My last Jack Link's original beef and cheese package. Prairie Portage, here we come. This is one big lake, and this is just one little tiny bay of it. Basswood Lake. So we're still in Canada. We're approaching the US border. Be coming up in about a mile. We have some waves from the towboats. The towboats are allowed to run the American side, the US side, and that's where we're headed right now. They're all coming out of Prairie Portage. Right now we are paddling on the border, US and Canada border, all the way back to Prairie Portage here. We'll be riding the border, half in and half out of the USA. So I found this island. It's real close to Prairie Portage. Prairie Portage is just about a 20-minute paddle away, 15-minute paddle away. So I'm gonna go ahead and call Bob Latourell, the outfitter that I came in through, and see if he can arrange for an early pickup, since my original pickup was for 1 o'clock, but I'm here already, and I'll be at Prairie Portage at 10 o'clock. So I want to find out what the procedure is coming back into the United States and checking in at the border here and getting the towboat. He's bringing a towboat over to pick me up. I paid for that. So I have to give him a call and see what's up. I got the whole thing. I wouldn't have seen this flag otherwise.
Oh, you found out right here?
Yeah.
There you go. Where did you go on your trip?
All the way up to Conmy. I went from Basswood. That was awesome.
I tried.
This is the rock that I picked up from an island on Brent Lake from my Quetico trip 3 months ago. There hasn't been a day that's gone by where I haven't thought about that trip. I think about the 33 grueling portages, the 100-mile loop that I completed, the 7 campsites that I stayed at. I think about that big bull moose at the height of my trip, the pictographs, the loons hollering across the lake, all the good fishing. There was so much that Quetico had to offer. So much, and I can't wait to go back. But for now, all I have is this rock. And when I want to think about Quetico, I hold on to this rock and I grip it real tight. And it brings me back momentarily. It's all I have for now, until I return. All I have is this rock, and the memories of that trip. Nobody can take that from me.